McCormick, and we are ready to kick this one off. So let's love the game from the Ally ACC Women's Championship in Cary. It is Clemson, it is Notre Dame. Let's go. Bruff, the English woman who got the start. Danny Davis, an excellent freshman along the back line for the Tigers. A diagonal ball. And Bornkamp tries to chase it down. The Tigers on the attack right from the opening kick.
Yeah, and immediately you feel the energy being a bit more direct for Clemson comparatively since last week when they never really got themselves into this game. Expect them in the first 15 or 20 minutes to really push the pace, put Notre Dame under pressure, and look to see if they can create a 3v3 on that back line for Notre Dame.
The Irish, meanwhile, really felt good about that performance. Nate Norman telling us he felt it was probably their best of the year. Eddie Radwanski did him one better, so that might be their best in a couple of years. And this Notre Dame team had a great run in the NCAA tournament last year, went away from the College Cup. Leah Klinke, one of the best assist producers in the conference all season long. Maddie Mercado, second team All-ACC selection. Notre Dame played on this stage last year. What a match that was. A 3-3 draw against Florida State in the semifinal. Seminoles wound up advancing on penalty kicks. Harper White just lost the touch, gave it up. Osbeck looking central. Sophia Fisher, the junior, number 11 for Notre Dame, has worked her way into the starting lineup more as the season has gone on for the Irish. Ball played back to Makowitz. Outstanding year for the senior goalkeeper.
And I think this is what we're going to see throughout this game, Jen, back and forth. And Notre Dame will be happy with that. A bit more of a transitional game, but Clemson, at times, they're going to want to pick their moments, when to go forward quickly, but also have a bit more of the possession, these wide areas, great positioning from McKenna Morris on this right-hand side to be able to be an outlet and then get numbers going forward, because that's where Clemson can be most dangerous throughout this game.
Here is McKenna Morris finding Bruff. Had a turn if she'd gone quickly. Tries to lay it off instead. She and Miles singing a different tune.
And one of the things about that game last week was that Notre Dame was at home, and they have been excellent when they are playing on their home field. That is something that Nate Norman talked to us about coming into this game. Can they make Wake Med Forest, excuse me, yeah, let me just add the other school in. Can they make Wake Med Stadium their home?
Yeah.
And really challenge for these championships, because as you mentioned, got to this point last year, lost in the penalty kicks, 3-3 tie in regulation and overtime, but really have an opportunity here with the team that they have, the dominant performances they've been put together, and the balance that they have within their team.
And you're looking at really two high-level teams here facing off. The first ever NCAA reveal that we had earlier this season saw these two teams at 8 for Clemson and 9 for Notre Dame. And what that really means to you is they're looking at hosting in the NCAA tournament. But if you're in the top 8, then you have an even better chance of hosting basically all the way through the quarterfinals. So that's on the line, along with a spot in the ACC championship, a place Clemson has not been in 20-plus years, a place Notre Dame has never been. Mania Hudson. Kiki Van Zanten immediately has a couple of Clemson Tigers around her. Ball played back up toward the front line. McKenna Morris defending. She'll see it out of bounds.
Oh, it's a bit of a heavy ball, but that is an area they had so much success in their last game. The diagonal balls over the top, whether it was Fisher, whether it was Gattino playing those balls in behind, put Clemson under a lot of pressure defensively. I would imagine tonight we're going to see that from Notre Dame. And it's going to be about the pressure from the Clemson Tigers, higher up the field, in particular Bornkamp. Can she stay high, create some of that pressure, create the 3v3 that we talked about?
Bornkamp challenging for the ball, did enough to keep it for Clemson. McKenna Morris, 8 goals, 6 assists on the season. Gattino stepping in to take it away. And look how quickly Bornkamp is on her. Van Zanten Osbeck having a career year in her senior season. Ellie Osbeck, she's taken down to the ground. 4 goals, 7 assists for her. Those are career highs. Van Zanten just manages to get it away from Lyles. She continues forward. Jamaican international Van Zanten, who played at the World Cup this past summer. Born in Buffalo Grove, Illinois, but eligible to play for Jamaica. We've got a couple of World Cup players amongst our 4 teams who will be playing here in Cary, North Carolina tonight. And a World Cup coach, too. Another foul, another free kick coming a little closer this time. Quick restart for the Irish. That is some of the relentless pressure that we saw right from the start a week ago in South Bend. Cal Hirschfeld, such a wonderful conductor in the midfield. This is a turnover. Osbeck had Harper White right on her back. Lynch calling for it in the middle. Lynch looking across. Bruff, lovely on the turn.
And then this will be the challenge for the Clemson Tigers throughout this match, is who can create some of that verticality, the depth in behind, because with Bornkamp, she's going to play a bit deeper and back to goal. And if the 2 wingers of Lyles and Short have tucked in deeper into the field, then there's nobody being an outlet once they do win it. It's a good ball into the midfield, but then they have to turn back and play right back into the pressure of Notre Dame. And now we're seeing Notre Dame regain possession, and they can go out the other side.
Morris will tuck in centrally. Forced out wide. Lyles was looking to go right back to McKenna Morris, and it sounds really intense down there. Marion Crowder is on the sideline. Marion, what is the feel like down there on the field?
Yeah, Jen, there is so much energy here from both of the sidelines, especially when it gets deep into Clemson's half. You have their sideline saying, release it, get hurry of it. And then you have the Notre Dame, because that is exactly what they want to see. They like that press higher up the field. The Notre Dame bench understands that that's a focal point for this group, and they are cheering all the way from the other side of the field. So lots of energy. I expect that will continue given how the teams ended last time these 2 met.
Yeah, spot on, Marion. And that's one of the things that we all talked about coming into this game with these 2 teams, wanting to take their programs to the next level more consistently. So it's about managing those motions, the excitement, because you're not going to be able to have that throughout the 90 minutes.
Caroline Conti, one of the leaders of this Clemson team in the midfield, number 23, now to the back line. Kenzie Duff had an important goal in that first round matchup for Clemson, had the game winner. It was 1-0 against Wake Forest. That's what got the Tigers here. Lyles.
Well, this is one of the ways that Clemson can manage the game and the motions that we were talking about, is just take the sting out of it, keep possession, work it from side to side, force Notre Dame to have to defend a bit more, because the more that you can get Morris, Davis, the 2 outside backs for Clemson, create those overloads in the wide areas, well, then you ask questions of the wing backs of Roy and Klinke for Notre Dame. Do you push them back to the back line, create 5 back for Notre Dame? That means you have more numbers centrally for Clemson, and they can control the ball even more.
And the pause here is for Lainey Matriano, the sophomore midfielder for the Irish. She's down and holding the back of her leg. Oh gosh, that doesn't look good right off the start here. Hopefully she'll be all right, but needing some attention at the moment.
Well, certainly not a good sign, because that is one of the players that head coach for Notre Dame, Nate Norman, talked to us about being such an important piece of just screening that back line, distributing the ball side to side, and really working those central areas for Notre Dame.
Marion, anything more you can add on what you're seeing or hearing down there?
Yeah, I want to go back to Lori's last point about really taking the sting out of the game for Clemson. You can hear on the coaching sidelines the different contrasting direction that they're given. When it's deep in Clemson half, the direction is release, release. It's quick 1-2 passes. When it's a little bit higher up the field, the direction is more easy, build, it's magic, move. So you can definitely tell that they're trying to build out of that defensive third a bit more quickly. And once they get to the midfield part of the field, they are looking to build and possess with a little bit more patience.
Thank you, Marion. Appreciate that. And we'll try to give you any update if we have one on what's going on with Lainey Matriano. She comes off Erin Honstein, who's a veteran of this Notre Dame program in her 5th year and has frequently come off the bench this season. She'll take her place, but an early sub here that Nate Norman's having to make. And Matriano, really one of those unsung hero types for this Notre Dame team in terms of the work she does in the midfield.
Well, especially screening the back three for Notre Dame, then it allows for Van Zanten, Mercado to get higher up the field, take more risks. So it's going to be important for Honstein to come in, get her a few touches early on, get her comfortable in this game, because we've already mentioned how back and forth it is. There's some stoppages in play now. So get her comfortable, get her those touches, and feeling confident.
Throw retaken because it was Gattino who was up on McKenna Morris as she was trying to take the throw, interfered with it initially. Lyles, touch to keep it in. Gattino's there defensively, but Lyles turns it around. Bornkamp now played all over for the Clemson Tigers throughout her career. All-American defender, but she's just crept further up the field. She's played at this forward line earlier this season, then was in the midfield. Now here she is again. Hirschfeld. And I feel like if you hear Hirschfeld, Conti, those names a lot when Clemson's in possession, that means the Tigers are getting what they want as they work it through the midfield. Bruff pass splitting the two Notre Dame defenders. Irish having to chase at the moment. Ball does get out and away from Lyles to give it back to Notre Dame. Maybe give them a chance to catch their breath and get into their rhythm a little more.
Yeah, and for Clemson, that's exactly what Bornkamp, playing as the number 9 tonight, is going to bring for them in the attack. Back to goal, and at times she'll drift a little bit more deep into the midfield, almost creating a diamond and a numerical advantage in those central areas. But it's going to be about her holding the ball through traffic and then allow more players to join into the attack, because that was a good passage of play, passage of possession for Clemson.
Sadie Radwanski. Both of our coaches on the sideline have won that Coach of the Year title in the ACC. Eddie's coming back in 2016 when the Tigers had a share of the regular season title. Good step in, Hal Hirschfeld, winning it back for Clemson. She looks up. Tatum short.
I'm just watching the positioning of Honstein, who's come in. for Matriano, who came out injured for Notre Dame, and she just needs to make sure she doesn't get too sucked towards the ball, keeps a little bit of depth in that midfield, screens the back three, and can be in a good position so once the ball is turned over and Notre Dame does win it, she's a quick outlet. If she's too high up, it leaves the gap for Bornkamp to be able to float into, or even Short, Lyles, who are on that front line as well, to creep into those areas and really start to get a hold of the ball higher up the field for Clemson.
Atlee Olafson, the freshman in goal for Notre Dame. Gave this ball up to Clemson. Now a free kick coming for the Tigers.
And this is what we're going to see McKenna Morris do quite frequently. Just get into the attack more often. Just a late challenge on her. Or her ability to join in the attack, cause problems defensively, and then draw these set pieces that can be extremely dangerous for the Clemson Tigers.
And this could be interesting. Clemson with some good targets, Bornkamp chief amongst them. And Danny Davis with the delivery. The header from Bornkamp and the save just made by Olafson.
Oh, just keep your eye on Hudson. How good was she, though? Just making sure that she stays touch-tight defensively as Olafson almost gives up the rebound. But so important from Hudson to continue with her mark, stay touch-tight. Just look at the position. Gets in between the ball and her player. And that's a close call there for Notre Dame. Gives us a good look exactly how dangerous Clemson can be on set pieces, though, as you mentioned, Jen.
Harper White. That set piece providing the first shot for either team in this match. Good touch from Bornkamp to Short. Mercado, Van Zanten, look how deep both of those players are right now for Notre Dame, having to defend with all this possession. Now another shot, but right at the goalkeeper, Olafson. Well, coming up next, our second semifinal of the evening will feature the undefeated Florida State Seminoles taking on the Pitt Panthers at 8 Eastern. And tomorrow, the fall championships continue. We've got the Field Hockey Championship, Duke and North Carolina at 7 Eastern. And Sunday, the men's soccer quarterfinals get underway at 2 Eastern. That is all right here on ACCN and the ESPN app, the home of ACC championships. Conti over the head of Short. This match certainly has started quite differently than it did in Notre Dame, where the Irish scored their first goal in the 13th minute, and it was coming right from the first kick. You could feel it. Feels a little opposite this time around. The energy belonging to the Clemson Tigers. Clemson had won the previous 2 matchups with Notre Dame prior to that last meeting. So they come in with some confidence against this Irish team. Short with the shot, but again, got to do better. Can't put it right at the keeper.
Yeah, but great energy for Clemson Tigers defensively to step up the pressure, and then once they do win it, the composure to keep possession, and that's going to be the challenge for Notre Dame throughout this game, because look at the amount of purple short shirts around Lynch, Osbeck once they do win it.
Chance in transition now. If Mercado can time it right. She had Lynch. Mercado is tripped up. Yellow card coming out for the play against Hirschfeld.
Oh, and that's the player, Maddie Mercado, that you want on the ball if you're Notre Dame. Starting to run the show, picking up the loose balls, running at the back line. Had the first goal last week for Notre Dame. Hasn't seen much of the ball yet in this game. But these are the types of positions that she can put Hal Hirschfeld, but also the back line of the Tigers in to create some of these set pieces.
And just as Clemson had a really dangerous opportunity on the other end from a set piece, now it's Notre Dame's turn, and they go up against Hallie Makowitz. will she be challenged for the first time in this match? Keep your eye on number 19, Ava Gattino. Air Gattino, they call her, for situations just like this. Gattino is blocked out of the play, and the ball just bounces harmlessly out of bounds.
And it feels a bit like that is where Notre Dame is right now. Just a bit reactive, no one really being proactive to get on the end of those balls. That's something we saw last week, and now for Clemson, putting them under pressure. So the challenge for Notre Dame throughout this game is, if we do continue to see Clemson apply higher pressure, how do they get those two wingbacks of Klinke, Roy more involved in the game, especially once it is turned over? They have to have an outlet and then build with numbers going forward. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night, and it's going to be looking for these transitional moments with only one or two players versus 4 or 5 purple shirts. Goodness, I can't say that tonight.
Well, they have the shorts too, so technically you're not wrong. Understand your point, though. Both of these teams have the ability to hit you in transition, but they also have the desire and the ability to be able to beat you with possession and build up through the field, and they'd like to be able to do a bit of both. Clemson has had certainly more of the possession so far. Conti stopped in her tracks. And Davis and Morris, the two outside backs for Clemson, both really high right now. They'll stay that way unless Notre Dame forces them back. Tonstein came on for Matriano.
They're doing a really good job of making Notre Dame uncomfortable in their own defensive third. Difficult for them to get out, difficult for them to be able to find an outlet.
Morris is dribbling through traffic and drawing another foul. Saw a card on the other end. Now Honstein's going to get one on this end for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Just driving at the back line once again for McKenna Morris, just putting herself in a really good position. And why she's so dangerous coming out of that right back position for the Clemson Tigers. Can get forward, get her head up. Look at the amount of numbers that she's drawing towards her. And substitute Honstein just late to the challenge.
And now if you're Notre Dame, you know, if you didn't before, you better mark well. Bornkamp was able to get the first ball the last time, and then Hudson had the runner covered for Clemson. Let's see what Davis or Conti. It'll be Conti this time. Klinke. Aspect and Morris get tripped up, really both going for the ball. It was almost Aspect's energy into Morris's heel that caused the trip. Can understand why no whistle was blown. Gattino to Mercado. Looking for the ball to Roy. Will this be the moment that Roy and the wings for Notre Dame finally get their attack going into the middle for Lynch? One touch! Just nearly missing as Makowitz goes down for the save.
Well, it's a huge save for Makowitz to get down because Notre Dame takes this one so well, but it starts from a big ball over the top, out wide for Mercado to be able to break the pressure. One big touch to be able to release, and then you have numbers going forward if you're Notre Dame. And then it's that little burst from Lynch at the very end, just to separate herself from the defender. Takes it so well because there was a little bit of a bounce, forcing that save from Makowitz.
Irish have been good on corners this year. Lynch with a follow, another big save. But the flag comes up anyway. Makowitz had it covered though.
Well, it's just the energy from Notre Dame. Once they do provide that outlet, are able to break the first line of pressure, that's why you want Mercado on the ball, because all of those two chances start from the big ball over the top, and then they got numbers going forward, and they'll be comfortable in these transitional moments all game long, especially with the amount of numbers that we're going to see the Clemson Tigers push forward into the attack.
Notre Dame scored a goal off of a corner kick. It was their second goal in that 2-0 win against Clemson a week ago. They've scored 7 goals off corners this season. And you could see how valuable a weapon that is. Morris and Klinke face to face.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun matchup all night long. Both of them already battling on this near side, and who can push the other one back more defensively and not allow them to have an impact in the attack, because those are two players that each of these teams rely on to get forward, to help create, especially in the wide areas.
Yeah, it'll almost be like a game of tug of war, right? How far can each one go over midfield?
Like chess?
Oh, yeah. No, I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and that was it, because that interaction occurred right around midfield, and I thought, okay, who's going to gain the ground? So far, Morris has had more of the rope. And you can tell Bornkamp such a good target, short, ready to run off of anything she brings down. Catino heading it away. Morris. Acrobatic from short to bring it down. Davis. Hard to keep her contained. Bornkamp, the header, and the goal! Megan Bornkamp giving Clemson the lead.
Well, it all starts with the pressure higher up the field. Bruff doing such a good job of winning the second ball, and then Clemson with the presence of mind to understand where the space is. Well, that is out wide. And then this is why you have Megan Bornkamp playing as the number 9 center back last year. There's the big ball over the top. There's Bruff coming in behind, winning the second ball, and then the understanding the space is out wide, first time ball in, and then you got Bornkamp being your target inside the 18-yard box, rising above, just splitting the two center backs from Notre Dame, and then makes no mistake about it, finds the back of the net, puts the Clemson Tigers up 1-0 here at Wake Med Stadium. And what a start this has been for the Tigers. Completely different start than we saw last week at Notre Dame, putting Notre Dame on their heels. Really only one good chance, 2 good chances for Notre Dame so far in this first half, because it has been all Clemson, whether it's direct, whether it's possession, and then they get rewarded with that go-ahead goal from Megan Bornkamp.
Seems like a good coaching move to me, putting Bornkamp back up top. Worked to perfection there. And you remember a couple of years ago when she was an All-American for Clemson, Megan Bornkamp led the team with 10 goals, 10 assists, and most of that came when she actually stayed home as a center back, but she would get up on set pieces and was such an excellent target, obviously showing that ability on the goal.
Well, and that was one of the things that you and I were even mentioning after that game last week between these two teams, is that one of the areas that Clemson struggled with is just not really having a hold-up player to be able to allow for more players to get into the attack. As soon as it was going into the front line, it was aggressive nature from Notre Dame defensively that would turn it over, and they had numbers going forward. Well, now in this game, it's been Clemson getting the ball higher up. You have somebody that's holding it up with Bornkamp or even Short doing a good job, and then they have numbers underneath, and it's causing a lot of problems, especially with Matriano out of this game now for Notre Dame in those central areas.
Yeah, we're going to get an update on that in just a moment from Marion, but once again, the Tigers on the attack. Morris to Lyles, and it is poked out. Marion, as they get set up for this, let's just see what you have. Have you heard anything about Matriano?
Yeah, Lainey Matriano, she came off, immediately was assessed by the trainer. Kinesio tape was put on her upper right leg, that upper right hamstring area, and then she was wrapped all the way up from her hamstring to her thigh. Interestingly enough, she tried to jog down with her pullover on. She came back, grabbed her warm-up pants, put those on. The rest of the team went on a jog to the corner flag and back, and she stayed exactly where she was on the sideline. She is questionable at best, but has not been confirmed with the trainer because he has not talked to Nate Norman yet either.
Thank you so much, Marion. That'll be something we can also ask Nate Norman about at halftime. It could be a big gap that Honstein has to fill. almost feel like we're watching a different team than we saw in South Bend. Handball is called here against Tatum Short.
Well, we are, because look at the gaps, and this is what I was talking about between the back three, the back five for Notre Dame and Hosting. This is where she has to stay more connected to that back line. Matriana does so well because she screens, she stays connected, able to win the first and second ball, and right now we're seeing Bornkamp, or at times even Lyles and Short, pull in more centrally to win those second balls once that ball is played higher up the field for the Clemson Tigers, and right now Notre Dame doesn't have an answer for it.
Kiki Van Zanten, all ACC first team, all those awards just announced yesterday. Plenty of representation across all four of our teams, as you might imagine, here in Cary, North Carolina. Florida State Pitt, our second semifinal coming up later tonight. The Seminoles, the regular season ACC champions and the three-time defending champions at the ACC tournament. Bruff. Conti. Bornkamp. Morris. Not allowed to get the cross off. There's that matchup again. Klinke doing the defending, but all the way back in her own penalty box. Sub coming on, Charlie Codd will replace Leah Klinke, is it? No, it looks like Christina Lynch up top. That makes more sense.
And there's McKenna Morris just getting into the attack. And we saw this against a few different teams for Notre Dame, North Carolina, Florida State, where they really were pinned in defensively, and it made it difficult for them to be able to create in the attack. And then we would see balls like this that wouldn't really get to somebody to connect the pass, allow them to build. So what kind of adjustments are they going to make going into the second half?
Ball in the box. Makowitz first to it.
Well, heads up play, because as soon as that ball was played forward for Notre Dame, they gained territory, they got higher up. We haven't really seen that from them throughout this first half, and then allow for Mercado to almost pounce on that errant back pass, uncharacteristic of Clemson. And there's that last little miscommunication, Mercado trying to get on the end of it, but they did well, Notre Dame, to step up their lines, get more compact, and gain that territorial advantage that we talked about. Exactly where you want Mercado, not deeper in your own half, but higher up the field where she can create.
Well, what a Week 10 ACC Network football lineup we have for you on Saturday. It starts at noon Eastern with North Carolina hosting Campbell. Then number 13 Louisville hosts Virginia Tech, and we'll cap the day with Miami taking on NC State at 8. All three games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Klinke found an opening. Van Zanten, now Mercado.
And that pressure is coming fast and furious from the Tigers. They have to be able to, Notre Dame, go out the other side, relieve the pressure, much like we saw on their best attempt so far in this first half. Which was one big ball out wide to Roy, and then they were able to release pressure, get higher up, and then you have runners in the box.
Ball does stay in play. And now Klinke picks it up for Notre Dame. Mercado always hovering nearby, making herself an option. Here's Codd. Klinke looking to serve. One of the assist leaders in the ACC this season. Osbeck now with it, with her left foot, diagonal ball through the area. Roy nods it down. Van Zanten quick on the turn, but not on target.
Well, Notre Dame giving Clemson a little taste of their own medicine, getting numbers around the 18-yard box, making it difficult for them to be able to clear some of those balls served in. And now it's about Notre Dame to get themselves back into this game. What is the reaction? Continue to get numbers forward, push the pace a bit, and make Clemson a bit uncomfortable in their own defensive half.
Bruff lifts her head, looks right up the middle, but the defense had it covered. Olafson clearing her defenders up the field. The freshman from Austin, Texas, won the starting job this season. This her 10th start of the season in goal for the Irish. Osbeck did well to keep possession. Now Mercado, and she worked some of her magic. Hudson. Ball in the air. Van Zanten brings it down. Cod right at the penalty spot. Does not miss by much. What a chance there, though, for Notre Dame.
Well, and she's certainly been a bright spot for Notre Dame throughout this season, coming off as a substitute, coming off the bench as a substitute. Puts herself in a great position. It's just one big ball over the top. They win the first, and then Cod gets it back. Really heads-up play from the freshman. Wins it initially, gets it back, gets herself right in front of the goal, and that doesn't miss by much. And even though a young player knows she really has to be hitting the frame on that opportunity.
3 goals on the season for Charlie Cod, who is a member of the ACC All-Freshman team. And first time we've really seen this tonight. Winaya Hudson does have a nice long throw at her disposal. Should get this right into the area, does. First ball won by Clemson. Not out of danger yet. And this should set up Winaya Hudson for another throw. 4 years starting defender, for the 5th-year player for the Irish. Klinke got ahead to it. Bornkamp. Gattino and Short both going for the ball. Disadvantage initially played. Mercado takes the shot. It is bobbled.
Well, you can see Mercado just at the end there saying that her shirt was pulled, and it was by Hirschfeld. And that's something they should be aware of because she's already on a yellow card, Hirschfeld. That is the player that makes this team tick. Sitting in the midfield, allowing for them to move the ball around. If she goes out, then that is a huge loss for the Tigers. And Mercado's starting to build herself into this game. Should be mindful of that to try to target Hirschfeld, put her in those positions.
Well, and yeah, see, this is exactly what Nate Norman is arguing about, and you're absolutely right, Lori. I mean, you could clearly see the pull of the jersey. That would be a second yellow card, which is typically what you get for a pull of the jersey, but it's not called, and I imagine Marion's getting some good details down there listening in as well. She's actually listening right now at the moment, so we're going to give her a second just to hear whatever is being exchanged here between Catherine McCormick, our referee, and Nate Norman.
Well, the one thing that Nate Norman would know, Jen, is just how important Hirschfeld is to this Tigers team. And you're going to see the tug of the shirt here, and the pressure from Notre Dame starts it. There's the shirt pull. That is another yellow card, and that is what Nate Norman is arguing right now.
There is a yellow card, but it's going to go against the Notre Dame bench because even though we would agree, I think that he is correct, it's all for naught, really, because you cannot go back and review that. That is not a reviewable play. Direct red cards you can go back and review, but it wasn't even called a foul on the field, so that's not something that a referee could go back and change.
Well, it goes back to my point, though, is that's something that Notre Dame has to then target, right? Because that plants the seed right now in the referee's mind to say, hey, I need to be watching this.
Cod tries it again. Boy, the freshman has been on fire since coming into the match.
And the one thing right now for Notre Dame is not to get distracted, not to get frustrated, as we are going to see another substitution for Notre Dame.
Meg Mrowicki, freshman out of Arlington Heights, Illinois, started 7 matches on the season, comes in. Marion, we've got you with us now. What else can you add to us about that whole exchange that just happened and the no yellow card, the decision there?
Yeah, obviously the Notre Dame coaching sideline just absolutely irate at the fact that that was not a second yellow. The decision from the referee was actually playing advantage. She came over to Nate Norman and said, well, she ended up getting a great shot off. What if that would have gone in? It was a lot of what-if scenarios. And to Nate Norman's credit, I completely agree with him. The foul actually occurred before the prep touch for the shot. That's a very tough no call. But to your point, Lori, that's definitely a question mark that the Notre Dame players are going to continue to ask.
Well, I think that absolutely has to be part of their game plan. Get more numbers forward and be more aggressive initially for Notre Dame, but that means Mercado dribbling in certain situations like this and then putting Hirschfeld in those positions to potentially draw fouls or tug shirts and really just get her out of the game in terms of a mindset.
You can feel a shift on the field. Notre Dame has really started to impose their will on this match, trailing since the 24th minute. Megan Bornkamp with the only match. 4 shots in favor of the Irish since that goal. Codd once again trying to bring it down. Fisher up from the back line for Notre Dame. Mercado shadowed by Hirschfeld. Roy, one touch to keep it alive. Little slip from Van Zanten. Recovers. Back in the box on the ball. Ball still alive. Clemson can't get it clear. Instead, they concede a corner. And remember what a good opportunity Notre Dame created on their first and the only other corner of this game.
It's a great response for Notre Dame right now. Is less than 10 minutes to go in this first half, pushing the pace, getting more numbers forward. This feels like the Notre Dame that we're used to seeing and making it difficult for Clemson to even get out of their own 18-yard box.
Roy from the corner, Gattino hunting it, as was Fisher. Lori, what's been better? How has Notre Dame started to get a hold of this match a little more?
Well, able to get their wingers of Klinke and Roy higher up the field, and that starts with their defensive pressure. That's what this team is all about, putting teams under pressure higher up the field, making them uncomfortable. That allows you to get Klinke, Roy, your 2 wingers in those outside positions, higher up the field, and then you create the overloads, and it's difficult for the opposition to be able to build out. And they're more aggressive going forward. So then Gattino, who we're seeing pick up the ball right now, can get going forward. First 20, 25 minutes of this game, they were so pinned back in their own defensive half. Difficult for them to be able to have an outlet and build into this game, into the attack.
Yeah, and Gattino setting play was a real key that Edward Wansky and Clemson wanted to try to avoid. Here is Codd. A good help defensively from Conti in the midfield, coming back to take it away. Bornkamp sandwiched.
And this is what's been different as well, is stepping up the pressure higher up, not dropping the back line. You're more connected between your defensive lines for Notre Dame, and it's allowing them to be able to create these turnovers and Mercado in advanced positions now.
Codd and Mercado working a 2-woman game. Have some support with Klinke on the wing. This is a recipe for success. Now Clemson really, can Notre Dame pin the Tigers deep? Jenna Tobia came on in the front line next to Bornkamp.
I think there's one area that still needs to improve for Notre Dame is switching the point of attack. Doing such a good job now of winning the first and second ball, but then playing right into the press of Clemson. If they can find the weak side and then attack in numbers once they do switch it, they're going to have a lot more success to be able to get runners into the 18, and they're going to create a bit more variety in the way that they're attacking against the Clemson Tigers.
Codd just holding her defender off. Now Roy takes a deflection. Tobia Her only outlet is Bornkamp, just again smothering Notre Dame defense, trying to win it back. Klinke forced to cut inside, a chance for Mercado to turn. Leading scorer for the Irish deflects, and Makowitz cannot keep it in play. This will be a corner. Third corner kick of the match for Notre Dame. Clemson has yet to earn one on the other end. Roy puts it up in the air. Headed back toward the goal and blocked, and Roy will trot right on over to the other side to try again.
Well, last 5 minutes of this first half, this is the pace. This is the ability to create opportunities in the attack if you're Notre Dame. They just have to continue to get on the end of this service and create some problems for the Tigers inside their own 18-yard box.
Roy, once again, trying to give her team a chance. Makowitz through traffic, reaches out and snags it out of the air. Now she says, let's go to her offense. Clemson looking to hit the Irish in transition. And look at Maddie Mercado getting back to defend and just slow the Tigers down enough. Bornkamp saw an opening, took it, earns the free kick. Well, the referee's bringing both coaches over, curious to what exactly she could be reviewing on this play. We do have experimental replay review, just to let you know. But that is situations that involve a penalty kick, a straight red card, or denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I don't think that was a situation here. Trying to remember what the build-up looked like. Those are the three that, if called on the field, could be reviewed. The regular replay review is goal, no goal. Did it cross the line? Player identifications. We're actually looking back at this play on the corner kick. Foul on Klinke.
And I think she was looking to see if it...
Or maybe if it crossed the line.
Yeah, exactly. But that is such a tough angle for us to see. I mean, we don't even see the ball once Makowitz gets a hold of it. And credit to her, through traffic, keeps a hold of it, and then you're able to immediately look for an outlet to go down to the other end.
But I give our referee credit for this is the only opportunity, the first that she had to go back and look at that if there was any chance. That's why we have replay review. Goal, no goal. That is one of the regular 6 situations in which you are allowed to look at replay review. Marion, what you got?
Yeah, just to point out what Eddie Rodnowski's saying over here, he's pointing out the reasons how there's no way that could have crossed the line. She's a right-footed player. It's an outswinger. He said, point blank, we could have saved you a lot of time.
Well,
I'm sure that's exactly what he's saying.
And now to the more pressing issue at hand as Atlee Olafsson readies herself in goal, and another free kick for Clemson in a dangerous spot. Davis and Conti switching spots. Davis is a left-footed player. Takes this one with a right. Good service! Oh, and it's tapped up and over. The flag does come up. My goodness, are they dangerous, though, on set pieces.
Well, and regardless of Bornkamp being offside or not, this is warning signs for Notre Dame, because Bornkamp already scored the go-ahead goal in this game and then completely wide open, just loses her marks. There's 2 of them for Notre Dame, to be more exact, and that is a free header of a player that you do not want. Olafsson does well to stay her ground, tips that one over to hit off the crossbar, but regardless, just not good enough defensively at this stage in the game. And when we talk about the details, the fine margins in this conference, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Bornkamp, 3rd team All-ACC this season. She was 2nd team last year, 1st team 2 years ago. 2-time All-American for the Tigers. Notre Dame playing right now like they don't really want to break for halftime, the way that they've been able to get into the attack more. They're out shooting Clemson 8-4, though the Tigers have the game's only goal coming from Bornkamp in the 24th minute. Here is Bornkamp battling with Gattino, the two-time ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Tobia had a couple of subs who've been waiting for last few minutes to come in for Clemson, but have not had the opportunity to come on the field yet. Hudson. Morris. Klinke crossing all the way over to the far side. She and Roy both inhabiting that same area of play at the moment. Hudson, so composed. Good flick, a chance in the box, but Van Zanten is offside. Tomorrow's ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum will come to you from Raleigh, North Carolina, just down the road from where we are, as the prep for college football Saturday, highlighted by Miami and NC State, starts at 4 Eastern. That game right here in ACCN Saturday night at 8 Eastern. Always a lot going on around this area, especially when you get to that point in the season where you're crisscrossing different fall, winter sports seasons. So the offside flag, the enemy of both teams here in the last couple of minutes. Under a minute to play in our first half. Clemson with the lead.
In the last 10 or 15 minutes, Hosteen, who's come into that holding mid role for Notre Dame, has done such a good job with her positioning, picking up the first, at times the second balls, and just screening. And she's one of the big reasons right now Notre Dame has had the momentum to be able to continue these attacks inside their attacking half.
So Maria Manousos and Sammy Meredith will now get about 20 seconds here in this first half. After, as I mentioned, waiting there to check in for quite some time.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Clemson will take the advantage into the halftime break. Entertaining first half. It has ebbed and flowed. Both teams. Temperature dipping into the 40s now as we kick off the second half. Notre Dame in white, Clemson in purple. Who will get the reins of the energy to start this second half? Here comes Gattino up toward that Clemson back line.
And I did appreciate what Nate Norman said with Marion right before the start of this second half in terms of his team needing to show the energy, continuing to push the pace, find ways to switch the point, and just really keep the pressure on the Clemson Tigers throughout this second half and to hunt for that equalizer. Because that's been the biggest difference between this game and their last meeting last week, is just the energy defensively higher up the field from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Here's Hirschfeld playing on a yellow card, perhaps should have received a second in the first half, but it was not called that way. Christina Lynch knows a thing or two about winning championships, and her time at Florida State, transfer to this Notre Dame program. Was injured last year, did not get to play. Clemson on the attack, unable to poke it through or earn their first corner in this match.
Well, it seems to be the exact conversation for Eddie Radwanski's side for the Clemson Tigers on how can they start this second half the way that they started the first, put Notre Dame under a lot of pressure and really made it for the first 20, 25 minutes so difficult for Notre Dame to get themselves and establish themselves in this game. Already doing a good job of trying to lock Notre Dame into their own defensive half.
looks to be the same starting 11 for both teams, with the exception of Matriano not being in there, as you heard Marion ask Nate Norman about. Not sure of her status to be able to come back in the second half. So Honstein in, and there's one. Yes, Charlie Codd. That is a change. Not a surprise, with as well as the freshman played up top for the Irish toward the end of that first half. Wonderful soccer lineage for Charlie Codd. Her mom, Canadian soccer great Charmaine Hooper, also played her collegiate soccer where she was a Hall of Famer just down the road at NC State. In fact, both of Charlie's parents played at NC State. Takeaway just outside the area. Lynch driving it forward, but couldn't manufacture a shot out of it. Still, though, Roy and the Irish doing well to get something here. Clinking, on that far side.
Yeah, it's great work from Notre Dame defensively, stepping up the pressure, winning the first and second balls. The counter press that Nate Norman was talking about, and then you have numbers going forward, and Lynch being direct, incisive with her decision-making to go forward, and now they earn another corner kick. And these are one of the areas, Jen, that you and I talked about, really, for Notre Dame, take a hold of this game and try to get the equalizer back early in these first few minutes.
7 goals off corners this season for the Irish. The ball plops down right around the penalty spot. Mercado, the midfield maestro for this Notre Dame team, wearing number 3 in white. So instrumental in what Notre Dame is able to do as they get into their attack. Codd flicks it down. Lynch. And sometimes you just need to get it out of there. That's exactly what Danny Davis, the freshman outside back for the Tigers, does. Kiki Van Zanten. Nice move. Got past one defender, but not two. Gets a little help from the freshman Morgan Roy. Roy, an all-freshman team selection this year. Started just about every match for the Irish. Foul on a free kick coming here, and will set up Notre Dame. Catherine McCormick leading this all-female referee crew in this ACC semifinal tonight. Quick restart.
Threw everybody off.
Yeah, but doesn't amount to much. Mercado driving at the defense. Gives herself some space. What a goal! Maddie Mercado evens us up that one.
We've seen this time and time again from Maddie Mercado, putting her team on her shoulders and scoring big-time goals. We saw this last week against the Clemson Tigers, and it was the energy that Notre Dame came out in this second half with. The counter press, pressing, getting numbers behind the ball, creating havoc defensively for the Clemson Tigers, and then Maddie Mercado doing just this, picking the ball up, being direct, taking it on herself, just sees a little bit of gap, sees a few players, gets by them, and then just unleashes a shot from distance to get the equalizer, get one back against Clemson Tigers here at WakeMed. What a strike that is from Maddie Mercado, and my goodness, the energy that this Notre Dame team has come out with has been exceptional, and now they have to continue to push the pace right now because of what a start.
8th goal of the season for Maddie Mercado, and putting it past one of the best goalkeepers in the country. Nothing Makowitz could do with that one. Clemson leading the ACC defensively all season long, allowed just 8 goals in conference play. Hirschfeld. Codd just continuing to chase after the ball.
But it's those little details, Jen. Little details for Codd to track. Loses the ball when they're trying to play into her feet and then finds ways to get it back. And then now we see Notre Dame defensively just applying the pressure and winning the first and second balls.
Mercado gets it out wide. Osbeck looking for Lynch. Hudson. Codd wanted to let it through.
Well, we're already seeing, Jen, Notre Dame, and it's something that you and I mentioned in the first half, using the width, spreading out this Clemson team horizontally. Now it's opening up these channels more centrally for Mercado, Van Zanten to get on the ball. And right now it's difficult for Clemson because they can't get tight enough pressure to be able to stall the momentum that we're seeing in possession, as Van Zanten's going to draw the foul centrally.
Well, while we have a moment, there haven't been many in this match. That was a quick restart. Hang on. We have Brian Penske, Florida State head coach, standing by with Marion. Hopefully he knows how much we appreciate his patience. We get a stoppage, Marion. We're coming to you. Tell him to hang in there. Love to see his Seminole team later tonight. Here comes Tatum short for Clemson. Gets the shot off. Takes a deflection. The lead goes back to the Tigers.
Well, and sometimes you just need a little deflection, something to go your way, because it's been all Notre Dame in this second half. This is really the first opportunity that we've seen from the Tigers. All the credit to Short to be able to get in this position, go herself, and there's a little deflection because it did look like Olafson would have it covered in the end. But it's that little cutback right there to buy herself time. Short, you can see Olafson guessing the right way, but then that deflection finds the back of the net, and we see Clemson up 2-1 again in the second half.
All right, now let's get it to Marion with Brian Penske.
He's been so patient, right, Jim? Coach, this is going to be a really exciting rematch. It was an electric game last time you two met. What do you expect out of this second semifinal?
I think it's going to be a great game. Obviously, Pitt has one of the top front fives in the league, and they'll be good and active. We've got to be able to contain them, and hopefully we can come out on top. Randy does a great job with the team. He's done so all year, and it's going to be a great game.
Last question for you. Do you own a pair of pants? Always in shorts.
Only when my wife makes me wear them.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
Marion,
I don't want to know.
The hard-hitting questions on the sideline. I always appreciate Brian Penske stopping by. And, you know, he was very, very nice in what he had to say there. Complimentary is the word I was searching for about Pitt, as well he should be. What a great season Pitt has put together. But what a great season this Florida State Seminole team has put together. I had to look at this twice when I saw it. First time in program history that the Seminoles have had an unbeaten regular season. And, I mean, think about the history of this team. 3 NCAA championships, 9 ACC tournament championships.
Yeah, it's been an unprecedented season, and it's like, how can we even say that?
Yeah.
For how dominant they have been. But both of those teams scoring 50 or more goals so far this season. So high-powered attacks. It should be an exciting one with the variety in ways that they can attack as well. I look forward to seeing both of them and how they come out and handle the game. We're starting to see a few players from both teams slip, slide, and you wonder if it is starting to become a bit more of a slick service out there. So how do you get numbers behind the ball? How are you able to connect your passes to get a hold of the game? Because Notre Dame is going to be more vertical, want to be more vertical. They're going to have to recognize that maybe the service is starting to get a little bit slick. So how do they adjust?
Emma Wenner, number 13, came on to replace Emily Bruff. And Wenner at the moment is on that far side, right around where McKenna Morris is going to throw this in for the Tigers. This game can be both beautiful and cruel when you think about the fact that Notre Dame had really been owning this second half. But Clemson, not only do they get the shot off, they get the benefit of a deflection, but you've got to give the Tigers credit. They created that opportunity. They gave themselves the chance, and now here they are with that 1-goal lead yet again. And looking for more. Conti getting behind, but puts it right at Olaf.
Well, and that's been the shift. They just have more vertical runs for the Clemson Tigers, and we really saw throughout that first half. A lot of it was side to side, and credit to them. They want to have possession. They want to suffocate teams with their ability to keep the ball. And they had pinned Notre Dame back so far defensively that there wasn't a ton of space. But now this game's starting to open up. They can get those runners in behind, and it causes that back line for Notre Dame some issues. Go-ahead goal from the freshman Short, or the go-ahead goal from Short, but then also that last opportunity from Conti.
Turnover. Falls to the feet of Charlie Codd. Roy. Pass gets beyond Bornkamp. Such an incredible impact that Bornkamp had in the first half. Yes, the goal, but also just the job she did up top, creating other opportunities, either with her head or hold-up play.
And primarily defensive. We knew that coming into this game, at times, she would drop deep into these positions to either hold up the ball or look to have a little creativity to allow for the runners to get in behind. But defensively, did such a good job of screening, being the first line of pressure to make it difficult for Notre Dame to be able to build out and have those big balls over the top that caused a lot of issues for the Clemson Tigers defensively last game.
Lynch. Hard tackle as Harper White came in. And yeah, I'd think twice about that quick restart if I were Notre Dame. Even though eventually the last one did lead to the Mercado goal. I don't credit that as a set-piece goal. I credit that to the magic of Maddie Mercado. And both teams have really put the opposing defense under some pressure with these free kicks. Gatino, Clinky nods it down and out of bounds. Well, coming up next, it's our second semifinal. The unbeaten Florida State Seminoles taking on the Pitt Panthers. That is at 8 Eastern. And tomorrow, the fall championships continue with the field hockey championship game. That's at 7 Eastern. And Sunday, men's soccer quarterfinals start at 2 Eastern. Everything all right here on ACC and the ESPN app, the home of ACC championships. Tigers on the attack. Manusas just came into the game, number 18 for Clemson, came on right toward the end of the first half. She was the player initially threatening there for the Tigers, came on in place of Short up top. Here comes Hirschfeld. Out wide to Wenner. Good possession here for Clemson. Can the Tigers turn it into something? Conti. Davis as Manusas is calling for it.
That's a great ball.
And McKenna Morris making herself available from the top of the area. Dribbles away, but fortunately for Olafsson, it dribbles to the side.
And it's a great ball because it's so difficult to defend. They just connect passes. Typically, we see players just serving the ball into the box at those moments. McKenna Morris makes herself available, sneaks in from that right back position, and then it gives her the time and space because those defenders for Notre Dame have to decide, am I going to step off my back line or am I going to stay? Well, they stay. She gets the attempt, and then it's Olafsson that just bobbles it a bit. No runners to get on the end of the rebound. Well done for Clemson in the build-up.
Fifth save of the match for Olafsson and the Irish. Notre Dame had this match tied for a matter of 3 minutes before now finding themselves trailing yet again.
Well, we said fine margins coming into this game.
Two teams that have put together great seasons to get here. Top 6 teams make the Ally ACC championship. Credit to Wake Forest and North Carolina as well. Those two teams making it, but were eliminated in the first round. Clemson beating Wake Forest 1-0 on Sunday. And Pitt taking down North Carolina. Van Zanten leading it forward for Lynch. She slips on the shot, and it goes out for the goal kick. Megan Bornkamp and Clemson took the lead in the 24th minute. And then Maddie Mercado taking all the momentum for the Irish in the 50th. They still had momentum, but really against the run of play. Tatum Shore taking her chances and retaking the lead for Clemson.
And sometimes it's just about getting a little bit of luck, right? Because that one with a deflection gets Olofsson going one way, ball goes the other. And as you mentioned, Jen, completely against the run of play. Really, it's been all Notre Dame in this second half. And then take the sting out of the game with that go-ahead goal for Clemson.
Manousis goes out for a throw-in. Manousis back to Davis. Good turn by the freshman. Bounces into the area. Not an easy clearance for Gattino, and not well cleared by the Irish. The follow-up doesn't get far. Hirschfeld back to her feet.
Well, one thing that Clemson has done so well so far since getting that go-ahead goal is just managing the moments of the game. When they can be direct and get those vertical runs that we mentioned in behind Megan Bornkamp as she holds up play, then they'll do it. But then they're also finding moments of patience to be able to keep possession and then win the ball back here. And they have a variety of ways that they can attack, and they're showing it right now.
And guys, just from a field level perspective, what I'm seeing, one of the big reasons that Clemson is having a lot of success in the attack is the fact that they're switching the point of attack. They'll play one or two really quick passes, look to the double pivots, and then find their outlet pass on the opposite side of the field. As opposed to Notre Dame, they are struggling to connect that final ball. They're playing either all one-sided or really forcing things centrally. If they can find a little bit more width, I think they'll have more opportunities for 1v1s in the final third.
Yeah, at times we are seeing Notre Dame too narrow in their structure. It's when they've gotten into those wide areas, Marion, that they've been so successful. And to your point, spot on about the Clemson Tigers, because they do have a variety in the way they can attack in these quick transitional moments, but then also understanding when just to be patient, hold it up as we're seeing right now, and then switch the point through Hirschfeld or one of the other midfielders so they can attack with numbers.
Codd getting the start in the second half. A real spark for the Irish at the end of the first half. Lynch will make a run for this. Plenty of time for Hallie Makowitz, ACC Goalkeeper of the Year, to collect herself, distribute where she wants it. This still very much anyone's game. Notre Dame winning the regular season matchup just a week ago, but the Irish were at home 2-0. Earned Notre Dame the 2 seed and the bye in this tournament. Manousis trying to sneak her way through. There is contact. There is a penalty kick coming.
Well, since coming on, Manousis has been such a threat, just sitting on the back shoulder of the center backs for Notre Dame and then looking for those through balls. This isn't the first time. She had an opportunity moments ago just to try to sneak in behind, create that threat with the space behind the 3 center backs from Notre Dame, puts herself in a great position, and it just forces that foul right inside the 18-yard box.
And this is under review. So now this is one of the experimental replay review situations that the ACC has had in playing conference games this season. They also do have it for this ACC championship. So penalty was called on the field. That's important. If it's not called, you cannot look at it, but it was called. So Catherine McCormick will go over and take a look, just make sure that she feels good about that decision.
Yeah, and in the run of play, it certainly looked like a penalty kick, putting herself, Manusos, in such a good position to get between the defender and the ball, be an outlet, and just using the momentum to be able to draw the foul. There she is, just sneaking in behind, and that is a clear penalty kick. No attempt to be able to get the ball or challenge. And she put herself in a good position to get on the end of that. I think this is going to stand.
Does this foul occur? It's actually a little bit further back than maybe initially it looked like. I was with you, thought it was a clear penalty, so that could also be what our referee is looking at, if that initial contact occurred outside the area. If so, it's a very different result, free kick rather than a penalty kick. Penalty kick was the call on the field, and Catherine McCormick first will call both coaches over, give them her explanation. So the review is over. It is a penalty kick. It is also a yellow card on Sophia Fisher. The Tigers are 2 for 2 and penalty kick attempts. Haven't had that many this season, but they've made them both. McKenna Morris, Renee Lyles were the two that took them. But it looks like this one's going to belong to the senior Megan Bornkamp, because she's been standing there holding that ball for a while. Nope. She's going to give it up to another senior. Caroline Conti will step up. Notre Dame has not faced a penalty all season long. They earned one in the regular season match between these two teams. It was saved by Makowitz. Let's see what Conti can do here to give the Tigers a 2-goal lead. Yes!
Well, this is the little shift that we've seen from Clemson throughout this second half. Little darting runs to get in behind, ask the questions of the three center backs for Notre Dame. Manusos has come on, just sneaks in behind, draws a foul. That is a clear penalty kick. And then Conti just stepping up. Look at this penalty kick. I mean, just top corner. Thank you very much. 3-1, the Clemson Tigers. And that is a massive goal, because now you create even more separation. This game has certainly been back and forth, end to end. When you felt like Notre Dame was starting to get a hold of it, they get the equalizer, and then immediately with the response from the Clemson Tigers, well, now that little bit of separation, you wonder how much doubt is starting to creep into the minds of Notre Dame's players, and how much can they get themselves back in the game. Well, these next 5 minutes are going to be crucial to try to get one back for Notre Dame Fighting Irish and make something of this game, because now a ton of energy, a ton of confidence for the Clemson Tigers.
Honstein and Rowicki both coming back into the match for Notre Dame. Marion, any more that you can add? I know you're right down there listening to all that you can in terms of that PK decision.
That was an excellent display of officiating by the head referee. She checked just about every angle. She checked the still frame. She checked the in motion. She checked 3 different angles. She saw that the player was onside. She saw that it was a firm hook, and then the yellow card was because the ball carrier was actually out of control. She did not have control of the ball, and because that tackle was made, the yellow card was then given. She called both head coaches to her, explained that situation, and it was definitely agreed upon by both head coaches. No remorse there from Nate Norman.
Thank you, Marion. And yeah, job well done. You know, when there's a penalty kick awarded and there's no argument from either coach, you got the right decision. Manusa is a North Carolina native, making the most. And now there is a foul, but Nate Norman is hot down there on the sideline. The Clemson bench also getting a talking to as Catherine McCormick makes her way over, and she does have the yellow card out of her pocket.
She doesn't. She goes in there body to body. First one, she clearly told her. Everybody's here seeing it. You have changed the game. You have changed the game.
And a yellow card has been issued.
Well, you can see, you can hear his frustration. You can understand his frustration. That is boiling over from the first half. And the yellow card that was not called on Hal Hirsch felt.
Defend my team. Like, you guys can't just cheat our team. Like, it's an easy call. You just pull it back. You just pull it back and give it.
Tigers on the ensuing kick. Offside flag up here as this will reset things a little bit.
Guys from down here, Eddie Rodwatsky obviously had a chat with his bench about that yellow card, told him to basically knock it off. And then over here on the other side, Nate Norman, irate at the decisions of the referee, saying that she has completely changed the game herself and stating that he basically just has to defend his team, and that's his job as a head coach.
But I think from a Notre Dame perspective, Jen, right now, yes, there's frustration. There's frustration from Nate Norman's perspective for sure, but can they continue to stay calm in these moments? Because that was one of the things that we said coming into this game. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be high pressure stakes, this being postseason play. So now, can they stay calm within the heightened awareness of this game and try to get one back quickly if you're Notre Dame, and at least make a game of this, because there's still plenty of time. And then on the other side for the Clemson Tigers, continue to put them under pressure, continue to frustrate them in the attack, and not allow them to get one back, and manage the game through their higher pressure and possession of the ball.
Another card coming out here as Catherine McCormick tried to get some control in this match. Bornkamp getting booked. And as frustrated as you may be, as you may feel if you're Nate Norman and Notre Dame, you have to trust in yourself, right? And figure out a way to put that behind you and carry on in this game. Even if you feel like things haven't gone your way, there haven't been some calls that maybe should have been made. I'm guessing there was a foul that was not called before that last foul against Notre Dame. But this is a Notre Dame team that's done so well this season. They're creating again, and what a chance. Right on the doorstep.
Yep, and it's these little moments right here that can switch and allow you to get yourself back into this game. Because to your point, and this is what we've been talking about all game long and even coming into this game, was how to manage these motions, how to manage the pressure, because there are fine margins within these teams and in this conference, and that's not a bad idea. And it starts from the wide area for Notre Dame. They have to continue to look for the wide players to serve balls in, because that is an area of vulnerability for the Clemson Tigers defensively. But it is about staying calm, continuing to play your game, and not allow Clemson to start to dominate even more, even though they have a little bit more of a lead now and a cushion going into these last 20 minutes.
Just over 20 minutes to go, a 2-goal lead for the Clemson Tigers. Van Zanten gets it to Mercado, good idea. But Renee Lyles there defensively for the Tigers. Charlie Codd does well to hold up play, allows Mercado to get in on the action. Now Klinke, quick on the assist, perhaps. No way, says Hallie Makowitz.
And it continues to be better from Notre Dame in the build. The wide areas on that far side, serving balls in. Codd's always the focal point, the target to get on the end of the service. But Makowitz does so well to come off her line, be confident, keep a hold of that ball. You did have players for Notre Dame coming in, rushing in behind.
Here comes Kiki Van Zanten, all ACC first team to all freshman team selection, Morgan Roy. Mercado couldn't quite collect the ball where she wanted it. Sophia Fisher. Bornkamp knows to take her time.
Well, she's been a difference maker in this game, especially in the second half. Obviously scoring the goal in the first half to put Clemson up 1-0, but then in the second half, just simplifying her game, always being an outlet. Yes, the game has gotten more stretched, so there's more room for her, but peeling off that back line, being a target, and then allowing for other players to come in underneath and join into the attack.
As the seconds tick away, does Notre Dame need to change anything drastically, or maybe even a small tweak here or there to get a little more offensive?
Well, I think they just need to make sure that not every ball has to be the final pass, not every shot has to be the best shot that they've ever taken. Continue to play as a team, continue to work the ball side to side into those wide areas, but then commit numbers once it does go wide into the box and force Makowitz or the defenders of the Clemson Tigers to have to defend facing their own goal.
These two teams met in the 2021 ACC Championship first round. It was a 3-2 win by the Tigers. They have given this Notre Dame team fits over the last couple of years. And Notre Dame leads the overall series. On Saturday, great Week 10 ACC Network football lineup coming your way. North Carolina hosting Campbell at noon Eastern. Then number 13, Louisville hosting Virginia Tech. And we'll finish it off with Miami taking on NC State at 8. All three games also available on the ESPN app. Roy, Codd has a chance to turn. Get the ball through. Back to Roy. Looking for the corner. Yeah, there it is. Morgan Roy gets one back for Notre Dame.
Well, it's a combination play, Jen, that we were talking about. Not trying to do everything individually. The runs will develop, especially when you get numbers higher up the field. And all the credit to Roy, because there's just good recognition, not just to serve the ball in. She cuts it back, waits for things to develop. And then they have numbers underneath. And then here's the initial play from Roy. She could have served it in, says, no, I'm going to go myself, and then look for the runs to develop. Well, Codd does so well, and then it's just a little link-up play. Roy gets it back, clinical finish, and they cut the lead 3-2 for Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
How about the composure of these two freshmen? Codd to Roy for the finish. Just the second goal of this season for Morgan Roy. The first came in her Notre Dame debut in her first game of the season. The second one comes here in this ACC semifinal.
Yeah, it's the patience, right? It's the patience and the understanding of where the space is going to develop once you do have that patience. Really good recognition from Roy initially, not just to serve the ball back in. Talked about not just playing the final pass or going yourself shots from distance.
Notre Dame wanted to keep the pressure on here in the box. Chance for Clemson to go. A little bit different now that it's a 1-goal lead for the Tigers versus 2.
Well, that's great work from Hostine. In the middle of the field, just tracking back, slowing it down, allows Notre Dame to get more players behind the ball defensively. And now, if you're Notre Dame, trying to get the equalizer, you have to continue to push the pace. You have to go for it. Be a bit more direct at times, but continue to build, continue to get Roy, Van Zanten, and even Todd up top. Well, Auspex has come on now. And get those players involved and on the ball more often.
Yeah, both teams have made some changes. Auspex back out there. And then for Clemson, they made 3 changes. Bruff, Short, Meredith all back on. Here is Auspex running forward. Makowitz pings off of her.
Well, there's a variety, Jen, of being a bit more direct, but then also the patience that we saw in the last goal. That one forces Makowitz to come off her line. Unsure about it. You have players facing your own goal. And that was a close call for Notre Dame. Another good opportunity, and that's the pace and the pressure that we're talking about to try to get the equalizer. And right now, if you're Clemson Tigers, just weathering the storm.
Now this Clemson defense, usually so stout, maybe a little rattled. They've only given up 2 goals on 2 other occasions this season. Once against Florida State in a 4-2 loss. Once to this Notre Dame team in the regular season finale. Morris. Saturday morning, the ACC Huddle Crew will kick off the day in Raleigh, North Carolina at 11 a.m. Eastern with a 60-minute pregame show leading into North Carolina and Campbell. They'll also have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day, and they'll come back at 6:30 to wrap things up and get you set for Miami, NC State at 8. Roy, the goal scorer most recently in this match, making it a 1-goal game. Van Zanten tries her luck. Such a dangerous and varied attack, isn't it, Marion, for Notre Dame?
Last year, 47 of the team's 56 goals came from 4 different players: Albert, Wingate, Mercado, Van Zanten. This year, Notre Dame has 11 different goal scorers coming into this game. Now 12 coming into this game. 4 of those 11 were freshmen, and that's now 5.
Yeah, it's been a different type of attack. Not as much reliance, Marianne, on some of those superstar-type players like the Irish had. And now they've got a numerical advantage on the break. Notre Dame looking to tie this match up for the second time tonight. Leah Klinke, 10 assists on the season. Hudson, right toward that front line in Auspex. Bruff, hounded by Van Zanten. That's some composure by your ACC Defender of the Year. Clemson taking no chances, just puts it out of bounds. It'll be a Notre Dame throw. There's a player down for the Tigers. Looks like Caroline Conti. Clock is stopped with just over 12 minutes to play in this one. Conti put home the penalty kick in the 65th minute for the Tigers. Gets a chance for both teams to catch their breath a little bit and set a plan. For Clemson, How they're going to hang on here. Hang on to the lead, hang on to the win, get themselves into that championship game, and for Notre Dame, how they continue to chase it. Conti back to her feet. That's a good thing. Adi Radwanski so pleased with the leadership he's gotten out of Conti this year. Grad student with the Tigers in her 4th year with the program. 3rd team all ACC this year. And at the moment, she's going to come off. Bornkamp coming back on in her place. We're allowed a re-entry in the second half in college soccer. And perhaps it's a good time to remind you that now that we're in the postseason, should we get there, we would have overtime and potentially penalty kicks. Haven't had that during the regular season. And it's up to Notre Dame, though, to try to get there at this point. Hudson. Pick out Lynch. It's a precarious position that Clemson is in. Not wanting to lose their edge, hang on to the lead. You can feel Notre Dame really pushing. They're trying to climb back into this one. We're down 2 goals. This will be a free kick for the Tigers.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity for the Tigers, and we do see them go quickly, but those are opportunities for them just to take the sting out of the game, slow things down, not allow for Notre Dame to be able to find any sort of rhythm these last 10, 12 minutes. And you can do that by keeping possession, moving it side to side, but also just being compact defensively, not giving anything away, especially in these central areas.
Van Zanten. Osbeck looking for some help, trying to go against Davis. Mercado, don't give her an inch of space. You know she's going to unleash a shot. It can be deadly. She tries again. Roy keeps it in play. Roy against Davis. And the flag has come up for that ball going out of bounds. So this will be a corner kick for Notre Dame.
And that's smart because you can hear the Notre Dame team on the sideline saying, get it wide, get it wide. How good has Roy been creating the width in this second half, getting herself isolated to take on 1v1, and now drawing this really important and potentially dangerous corner kick on this near side.
Klinke right in front of Makowitz, in front of the goal. Roy ready from the corner. Gatino trying to get to it. Fisher got the first touch. And it is now out of play.
And now I would imagine where Clemson now starts to slow things down, not get the ball back into play as quickly as we saw them do moments ago. Just slow it down, allow them to take control, whether they are in possession, out of possession. Get numbers forward and win these first and second balls.
Goals hard earned in this match. 5 of them so far. Told you that we haven't seen that much from this excellent Clemson defense, and Notre Dame too. It's only the second time they've conceded more than 2. Roy takes it with the left. Makowitz smothers it right out the end line.
Oh, such a good run from Osbeck just to draw the defenders to the wide areas, cuts across Roy, and then Roy takes the space inside. Just trying to get it through traffic, always going to be difficult.
How much is left in those legs as we are under 10 minutes to play? Ava Gatino knew she had to track that ball down. Onstein will get it back from Hudson. Onstein tripped up.
Hosteen has certainly elevated her game since coming in, being more confident to be the outlet, the switch to play from that far side to this near side, and now we're starting to see Notre Dame build once again late into this second half.
Roy, can she make something happen? Has to get past Davis first, who just sees it out of bounds like a seasoned veteran. She's not, by the way. Neither of those two are. They're both freshmen, but both all ACC freshmen selections. I know you were on top of it, just in case anybody else wasn't with me on that reference. Two freshmen having incredible impact on their respective teams, getting them to this point this year. By the way, the only other match this season where Notre Dame did concede at least 3 goals, it was actually 4. It was against the Florida State Seminoles, team they could face if they find a way into the final. Florida State Pitt coming up in our second semifinal. Clemson Tigers with the advantage here. Hudson does enough to allow Olofsson to get it. Set play as the Irish have 7 minutes to try to find the equalizer.
Well, you have to be smart. You have to find those moments just to go direct, put Clemson under pressure, but then also, if it's not on, don't turn it over in dangerous areas that allow for Clemson to be able to have numbers getting into the attack.
Clemson Tigers do have more experience. Of course, they've been in the ACC longer, but more experience on this ACC championship stage. But their last 5 semifinal appearances, they've failed to advance. They are looking for their first berth in the final since 2002. Kiki Van Zanten brings this down for herself. Van Zanten off the post! The equalizer on the foot of Kiki Van Zanten, and she took that chance for herself.
Well, sometimes it's just about wanting it more, being proactive. That's exactly what Van Zanten does. But then you see it just at the last second, White comes over, makes it predictable, causes that deflection. That one ricochets off the post.
Here comes another corner. Roy left that one a bit short. Seven corner kicks in this match for Notre Dame, none for Clemson. And the Irish have looked dangerous. Good ball, Mercado. Klinke. Defensive effort is enough to at least slow the initial attack. Now the throw for Notre Dame. Onstein. Stepping onto the ball. Lyles. And there's a foul called against Mercado as she tried to win it back for the Irish.
Well, that is an important intervention from Lyles to step in, dispossess Mercado, and then earn the foul. Because now, look at the time, take off the clock to slow things down once again for Clemson Tigers.
Bornkamp up to Meredith. 5 minutes, less than that for Clemson. Try to hang on. Short will give a run for this ball. Force Klinke to make a play. Notre Dame chasing this game. Marianne, can you add something more there?
Yeah, Carolyn Conti's going to come into this game bringing instructions to Hal Hirschfeld to track the player. The player being...
Going to have to play through number 3 at some point.
Well, she certainly has been their focal point, and what a strike that was from distance for Notre Dame and Mercado. We've seen her do that time and time again, and she's already trying to get on the ball even more often right on top of the box. So makes sense that the Clemson Tigers will try to stall, not allow her any sort of time and space. Just track her player for player these last 5 minutes.
Charlie Codd back into the match for Notre Dame. Sydney Manning in the box. Great recovery. Sophia Fisher won it back for Notre Dame, trying to give her team a chance. 3 minutes to go in this semifinal match. Let's go, says the referee. Davis looking for some options. Mercado with Hirschfeld right on her back. Hal Hirschfeld, remember, playing on a yellow card. Klinke pressing the issue on the far side of the field. Clemson making it tough for Notre Dame to get any type of service off from the wing. Roy, one defender to beat. Now some more help comes over. Roy cuts it back. It's just enough to find Codd.
And right now, if you're Clemson, just boot it down the end of the field, get it into the stands, whatever you can do to allow yourself to get back, be compact defensively, and make things predictable for yourself and allow the clock to tick down.
Davis could not see that ball out of play. Tried to do exactly what you were saying, but the ball slowed up just enough for Notre Dame to get onto it. Minute 34 to go. Notre Dame pressing, fighting, trying to find their way to an equalizer and overtime. Ball knotted down by Van Zanten. Mercado to Klinke. Now Klinke gets the cross into the box. Codd wanted the header. It's good composure from Notre Dame, not rushing these chances. Fisher bends it in. That was it. Kiki Van Zanten has had a couple of golden opportunities in these last few minutes.
Well, and you said the composure, Jen, and that's exactly right, because then Notre Dame can get Van Zanten into these positions. You're finding the free player, moving it side to side as it comes back. This is what they've done so well in the second half, to have balance behind the ball, to regain possession. Then you have the runners, and that is always going to be a difficult one to get a hold of. You see the balance right there at the end. Comes up on Van Zanten. She can't keep over it. But one thing we said,
this ball is kept in play by the terrific efforts of Ellie Osbeck. 12 seconds to go. Does Notre Dame have one last gasp as the countdown is on and carry?
5, 4, 3, 2,
Catino. Clemson Tigers are going to win this one and make their way to the final on Sunday.
well, one of the things, Jen, we said coming